Morning guys, quick little video here just talking around the use of phones in our classrooms. From time to time, obviously there is some issues to be dealt with from it that our students essentially probably bring upon themselves by using these devices, not just phones but laptops, iPads, whatever it may be, that they sort of bring those issues on themselves just for their inappropriate use of it. So as teachers we need to find ways that we can still have those part of our classroom, because I said they're not banned, okay, but still be used appropriately with a really clear outcome if they choose to use it inappropriately. So for me, I think that anytime we allow our students to use their phones, whether it be to listen to music, to do a Kahoot, to do anything curriculum related, we are opening up ourselves for that possibility of conflict. If those phones are asked to be handed in, sometimes that can lead to students acting quite emotively towards us based on the fact that they think we want to take their phone and use it ourselves, for example. This document here, which is up in all your rooms now, it's definitely helped me this year, progress and have that use of those phones even more clear for students. It's something we can refer to proactively before we get into class, reactively when we are in class, those end of lesson chats. If a phone has been confiscated, we can refer straight to this, and students can start engaging with this document as well. However, from time to time, we let kids, choose how they want to use their phone for whatever reason. If we don't have our procedures very clear to the students, then, as I said, when that phone is used inappropriately, then that phone is asked. That's when students generally don't like it. So what we want to try and avoid through the use of phones is situations where we have that confrontation. This is just a quick little snapshot of a couple of ideas that you might want to use to implement with your class. It's never too late to do. It's obviously easier at the start of the year or start of a term. But for me, the chat I have with students at the start of the year will be around the fact that your phones are allowed to be on you at all times, okay? And I'll make it clear to them that it's a privilege to have that on them instead of rather than a right. So should they choose to abuse that privilege, then there has to be some sort of outcome, some sort of consequence for them. Around that, I'll pose them some questions around the fact that if you're given an option or a choice to use your phone correctly, and should you choose not to, I'll make it clear to them that I don't want to have to confiscate their phone or take it up to client services, whatever the processes may be. I'd rather them have that on them and avoid that confrontation. Students this year for me in my three classes, so a year 8, 9 and a 12 class, good spread across different age groups, they were really appreciative, I guess, of the fact that I don't actually want to take their phone, but should they use it, then there is really no excuse for them not to hand it in. Should they choose to refuse to hand it in, then we deal with that as well, okay? And that might be done after class. It doesn't have to be done on the spot, especially if they're not being disruptive. So that can be something that's done after class. But I will use this proactively before I come into class. I've got some targets that I set before class around reminding students about certain things and making sure I refer to these rules for one. If anyone else has any other ideas of how they've implemented it, they might use a phone box or something on the back of the door that they can put all their phones into. I'd love to hear it because I think if we can share these little strategies with other teachers, then we can really aim for that consistency across. The reason for the confrontation, however, I think, is that often once that phone is used inappropriately, we do have that confrontational moment that we sometimes will tell kids what to do. Kids don't like being told what to do. We don't like being told what to do as adults. It is quite a negative strategy. It's an emotive strategy from us teachers if we were to do that. So we can't expect anything else other than an emotive response most of the time. But that telling kids what to do, as I said, it's emotive. And the reason that we have these issues, I think that we're still working towards that explicit instruction around the use of these devices and that consistency. So I don't think we're there yet, but we're working towards that sort of stuff. So thank you.